Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday evening. That means it's time for another edition of Circle Track Chatters presented by the Wiltons. My name is Craig Smolders, joined as always by the legendary Rob Young. Good evening, Rob. How are you tonight?
Hey, Craig, I'm great. You?
I am awesome. I would ask you how your weekend is. I'm just swatting flies here. Sorry about that. I'd ask you how your weekend is, but we haven't quite got there yet. But what we got the shootout coming up here.
Yep.
We'll kind of talk about this backwards. What are you looking forward to for the shootout? Looking forward at Buxton Speedway. That's your pick right there, eh?
That's it. That's all you're going to see, lap after lap.
All right. Well, we'll hold you to that. We're kind of winding down here at the racing season a little bit here. So before we talk about much about racing on the outer reaches of the province, which we'll be doing tonight, what do you think about the 2024 season at Buxton Speedway, Rob, that you saw?
I think it was an amazing season. We had really good car counts, even though in the latter part of the season they've dwindled off a little bit. But really good racing in every division out there. They put on a heck of a show. It was exciting every night. I think I only missed one night due to another commitment, but man, I'm telling you, it was exciting and good racing. So I think that we have something to build on for next year. So I'm already excited about next year.
Yep, absolutely. And the Marsh boys, they stepped up, and when the track was really set to just sit idle for a season, what it looked like, the Marsh boys stepped up and took a shot at track ownership. They've learned a lot along the way, I'm sure, and but they did a heck of a job. I mean, they had some issues with the track conditions, and they kind of got that worked out. And they come along, and I mean, anybody that thinks that owning a track and running track is easy is crazy. Definitely isn't. But yeah, like I say, the Marsh boys stepped up and did a heck of a job, and Circle Track Chatter was there for the entire season, trying to bring you guys all the action. So we had a lot of fun out there and did some interviews and stuff. So yeah, 2025 season coming up, and we're looking forward to that. So, but tonight we are like I said, we're going to the outer reaches of the province as far as we're concerned. We're going way out to Cornwall. Have you ever been to Cornwall, Rob?
No, I haven't. I know right where it's at. I've been by it a number of times, but never been there.
Well, it's we're gonna get the 24th 2024 Sportsman Champion from Cornwall Speedway, Gabriel. He's going to join us tonight. We had a chance to talk to him just before we came on here. What's your opening remarks on Gabriel?
He's 24 years old. He's been racing in the Sportsman division for 10 years. Started in go-karts. It sounds like he's for a 24-year-old guy, he's really got things heading in the right direction. 2 championships already, man. You can't beat that.
No, absolutely. Back-to-back championships, 2023, 2024. So I'm sure he's ready to get going in the 2025 season. But before we get there, we got to talk about 2024. So let's get Gabriel Sear in here and have a little chit chat with him. Good evening, Gab. How are you tonight?
Good, you guys?
Good, thank you. Thanks a lot for joining us on Circle Track Chatter. How's it going? How's everything going for you? I know the 2024 season just kind of wrapping up for you guys, but how is everything this year so far for you?
It's been good. It's been pretty hectic the last couple of weeks, but this time of the season, we're kind of all excited to get near the end of it to start building disassemble the cars and put them all back together for next year.
Absolutely. Rob, do you have any opening questions before we get going on racing here for Gabriel?
Well, I just found out Gab shared with us that he's recently engaged. He's been dating his fiancee for 6 years, so he's made that commitment at 24 years old. We were just introducing you there. Man, 2 championships, and now you're going to get married, and looks like you got a real bright future ahead of you there.
Yeah, exactly. 6 years now, so the time was due for that. So we decided to get that done, and yeah.
Is the future wife? Is she a big race fan?
Yeah, she's with me at all the races since I've known her now for 6 years. So she's been to just about every race and helps out during the weeks, washing tires, watching the car, other things like that. And where we just have our 2-year-old daughter now. She's gonna be 2 actually this weekend. We're having a birthday party for her, so she helps out a lot too.
Oh, that's cool. So it's a big family thing for you guys, and that's awesome when you have the support at home to it makes it a lot easier for you to do the things you want to do, right?
Exactly. She has to understand that I'm going to be out in the shop most of the week. It's not always home to do all the other little things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we want to go back in time and want to get to know you just a little bit more. So why don't you kind of tell us a little bit? First of all, I guess you race at Cornwall Motor Speedway. So why don't you talk about Cornwall a little bit, how big it is, and kind of the banking and what it's like to get around that track?
Yeah, Cornwall's a neat little place. Small little quarter-mile dirt track. Decent sized bankings in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is a little straighter, but still enough banking to come off. But it's not like a full circle off turn 2, as you can kind of see in the one picture there. You kind of come off straight, aim for the top, and then dive back into turn 3. So it's a neat little place. The new owners that just took over a few years back have done a really good job with it. New grandstands. They're always putting money into it, and the car counts are probably the best around anywhere around here anyway.
Do you guys attract a lot of Americans to your track as well?
Yeah, we're right near the border, so we get all, and there's not many places on Sunday nights racing, so we get all the Brockville guys, Quebec guys, Mohawk, all the stateside people that come over. So it's like the central track of where I am.
Oh, fantastic. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
Yeah, just for us from way down here in the east, to give you an idea of where Cornwall Speedway is, it's like right off the 401, almost to the border of Quebec. So you've got Ontario, Quebec, and then he speaks about being close to the border. The St. Lawrence River Seaway is right below the track, and then you get into New York, and there's so you're above Ontario, and right where he's at, you've got New York, Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Ontario, Quebec, and it's a hotbed for modified racing down in that area. I've over the years, way back when I had some health problems, I was watching some YouTube stuff, and I love to watch a lot of the super modified YouTube channels, especially Mandy Pouch Mahaney, and I think Mike won a championship there recently in the 358s.
Yeah.
Barefoot Bob McCready raced at Syracuse down there, and his son Tim's from Watertown. And that's not too far from where you're at, but a lot of famous people from that area.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come and start in these cars for their grassroots, kind of getting started on this and moving their way up to the big blocks and late models like T-Max at now and different things like that. So
yeah, that's pretty cool to see that he's gone from there right up to being the Rocket House driver. That's pretty cool. So as I said, it's a hotbed for modified drivers right there. Anyway, I'll turn it back over to you, Craig.
So you started your career in go-karts, I guess. Did you race go-karts at Cornwall? Is that where you were racing, or where were you racing at?
yeah, we raced kind of all over the place with the go-kart stuff. We got our first win there in 2007, you can see in that picture. But yeah, no, we raced Cornwall, we raced Brockville, we raced Governor, we raced quite a few go-kart tracks over the years. Had a lot of fun doing it.
Did you also win some championships in the go-karts?
Yeah, we won 2 championships. A lot of the years, my dad would start me in a certain class, and then by the end of the year, we'd be moving up as more competition, and just to make my career better and make myself better as a driver racing against older kids. So we never really won a lot of go-kart championships, but we got a lot of trophies to go with the wins.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, starting at 7 years old in a go-kart, and then not long after that, moving up into the modified ranks. Again, I've always said that go-kart racers make great race car drivers, and I can see that's where you're coming from. Looks like your folks were pretty instrumental in getting you going there in go-karts. Is that right?
Yeah, my dad, my mom were big supporters back then. My little brother there. But yeah, no, they got us all started and all their hard work to make it all happen for sure.
That's what it takes. Does your little brother race go-kart, or is he in any racing at all?
Yeah, so he did a lot of go-karting as well. He kind of started the around 7, 8 as well. He did a lot of go-kart racing, and then he got into the sportsman stuff as well. And this year he was actually racing my second car, so we kind of formed a little team together, and I gave him a ride for the season, and we had fun doing that together.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, back to you, Craig.
How did you get into the go-kart racing, or how did you get into racing, I guess, to begin with? Like, did you grow up as a fan at Cornwall, or different tracks, or how did you were your parents into racing? How did that all come about?
Yeah, so none of my parents really race, but my mom used to go to the races quite a bit, so she'd bring my dad around, and then as I got older, I started going to the races, racing more, and then my older cousin started racing go-karts, and they were kind of that's kind of where I got my number from. They started out with 92, 93. That's where those were their numbers, and then I was the third one to join, and I was 94. So that's kind of where that number came from too, from the go-kart stuff.
Oh, that's really cool. So, yeah, you said a couple of championships, you get some wins, and then at some point you decide that you want to take a little break from racing and you want to try your hand at something else. You want to talk about what you got interested in?
Yeah, we did a lot of hockey back when I was younger. My dad, my mom put me in a lot of hockey camps. So we didn't always have the time to do a lot of go-kart racing. In a couple of the years back in 2010 or so, we kind of took a little break on that. And then, well, we got back into it, and here we are now.
Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
So that brings us to legendary. I guess it'll be your mentor, Billy Cook. Billy
Yep.
takes you under his wing, and guy that knows everything about modified racing, and he brings you along. Obviously, it's made an impact in your life, and here you are with 2 championships. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so back in, I'd say 2011, 2012, just one Sunday night, me, my dad, my mom, my brother would walk around the pits. And Billy was always one to take people in and help them. So one week, well, we've done it for 3, 4 weeks. We'd walk by, say hi, how's it going? Him and his grandson Thomas Cook. And then one week he says, "You want to come check the air pressure on the tires?" So it all started like that. He kind of showed me from when I was 11, 12 years old, showed me how to work on the car, all by starting torquing the wheels, checking the air pressure, stuff like that. And then a couple weeks later, he's inviting us over to his shop in the States, and we're working on the cars with him. And that's kind of where all that started. And then a year or so after that, we really got into it with them a lot, doing a lot of traveling with him and Thomas. I would stay out there basically all summer. I'd sleep at his house, whatnot, work on the cars on the shop and get them ready kind of as a summer job as a 12-year-old. So it was a lot of fun. And then in 2013, 14, we ended up putting another sportsman car together for me. And he has a go-kart track out in the or not a go-kart. He has a racetrack in the back of his house, so I was able to practice there and do quite a bit of laps around that place, and then did my first ever race at the Can-Am Speedway. So yeah, that's where that kind of all started with them.
Wow, that's pretty good. Well, I just because a lot of our listeners from down in this neck of the woods again are not familiar with modified racing, but basically the difference between the 358 and a sportsman car, you mentioned to me, it's basically the same car. You're running a crate engine in your sportsman car. A lot of people ask me about, okay, it's a 602 crate engine, but they're a little confused. It's not really a 602 cubic inch engine. It's actually a 350 built based on the old original 350 that General Motors perfected. The Vortec heads were something that back in 2002 they came along with, and so the guys didn't have to spend thousands of dollars porting heads and stuff. They took the Vortec heads, put them on a 350, which is just a standard 4-inch bore. Thing makes about 350 horse. Oh, I'm going to back up a little bit. That's based on whose dyno who's running the dyno? Whose dyno you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
350, 375, but basically it's making about 350 horse. Now, if you go with the 358s, that's like an open motor, so they're like making 900 horses. Am I correct about that?
I think the 358s are more around between 580 to 620 now,
Okay.
depending, and then you get into the big block stuff where they're running around 900. Yeah.
That's what I remember back in the day when I was used to watch the big modified race from Syracuse. They were running the big blocks down there. And
Yeah.
what a
Those have been.
sound! Yeah, what a sound they make. Eh? Okay, so just wanted to let the listeners know a little bit about them. Basically, we do deal with Bicknell quite a bit for a lot of our stuff. They build a lot of modified chassis. Troyer Manufacturing does as well. I think that's still based off the Maynard Troyer business from way back when. But are there any other chassis manufacturers out there?
Yeah, there's a couple other ones that have kind of come out. DKM is a different one. They got the TO cars, Outlaw chassis. Now that GSR Glenn Steyer's just purchased them,
Oh yeah, I see
so
that. Yeah,
that's
Glenn Tires. Yeah, he's built some too. Now, so
yeah.
they're basically you got the transmission, drive shaft, all runs between your legs. So you're sitting in the center of the car. You shift between your legs, and you're running a quick change rear end. And we talked a little bit about the rear suspension. It reminds me more of a 3-link than a 4-bar rear suspension, but a lot of adjustment. Now in your division, you can't run expensive shocks or gas shocks. You got to run a steel shock. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a steel body shock, but there's still nitrogen in the inside of it. You can play with that stuff, and then whatever you decide to put on for coil springs and different things like that.
Yeah, and then you got a claim rule. What is it, about $300 and some odd that they can claim your shocks? Is that something you've got going on there?
No, I don't think we have any of that around here.
Sometimes they
None
have
of that stuff. Yeah.
Just to keep the cost down. Sometimes they'll have like a $300 and some odd claimer rule on them. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of let our listeners know. Again, you got a 108 to 110 inch wheelbase, and it's all race car. I mean, these things are fast, and they're fun to watch, and they're exciting. So, all right, I'll turn it back over to you, Craig.
So I guess 2015, that was your first season. Talk a little bit how that went. I mean, when you think you got it all figured out, and then you line up in the chute, and you're like, well, maybe not. You start second guessing, or how was that for you for your first time on the track, and how did that season go for you?
Yeah, our first year was actually pretty good. We started off in the novice division. At Brockville, we won three of the first opening nights, 3 of the first 4. And then they kind of have a rule: when you win 3 in the novice class, you got to move up. So then we kind of moved up into the regular class, and it's definitely a rude awakening whenever you move up with the bigger guys. They're a lot faster, a lot smoother. They're hitting their marks every lap, and just a lot harder to get around them or even stay in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And were you able to take anything from your go-karting years, or was it just not interchangeable and it was just learning all over again?
I guess there's a little bit of similarities, I guess, but in the go-kart, there's no rolling over in the seat, so that's a little bit different. And then obviously the counter steering is not much of that in the go-kart stuff. So I don't know if it's a lot of interchangeable things, but it's still a racing.
Absolutely. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
Well, I noticed that you were talking about car count earlier, Gab, there, and you said you guys have always had a good car count. Yeah, you did. Like this one race, you had 28 cars. You run 28 cars in one feature?
Yeah. Yeah, a normal night, we only take 28 now at Cornwall. They used to sometimes take up to 32, but there's some nights when we have big races, there's 45, 50 cars that show up to try and qualify, and there's only 28 that make it. So if you're in the top 28, you're going home.
Yeah, so you qualify, and then you run heat races, take so many out of the heat, and then you go to like an A, B, or you probably even have a C main with that many cars.
Yeah, usually they'll just do like two big B mains, and then like top 2 or top 3 make it out of there. So it's it's a lot of if you're starting at the back of the B, you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you got to run. Yeah, there's no guarantees in the division you're racing in. That's for sure.
Mm.
Anyway, and again, for you to win 2 championships in the last 2 years, I take my hat off to you. Holy smokes, that's some hard racing. All right, back to you, Craig.
So 2015 season, as I said, that was your rookie season. It looks like you came out of that relatively unscathed. I see that one picture there. You're kind of facing the wrong way, so obviously you had some incidents, which you would have in your rookie season, but obviously not enough to scare you off. So 2016 rolls around. You think you're having some fun. You want to try your hand at this again. Talk about getting ready for your next season. You kind of have things figured out, and you're ready to rock and roll. How was it getting ready for your next season, 2016?
Yeah, it was good. It was a learning curve, building a new body, stuff like that. I was still with racing with Billy and them at that time, so teaching me how to build bodies, stuff like that. Still learning all the different setup stuff on the cars, and from 2000 and well, like when I started in 15 to 2019, it was a lot different than the go-kart stuff when we were used to winning a lot, or even the rookie class when we won a couple times out there with that, but once we moved up to the bigger class, it was a struggle for 3, 4 years of learning everything and understanding what it takes to be a front runner.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I'm looking at these cars, and I've always been fascinated with them, but it looks like downforce, because you're talking about building the bodies. Looks like there's a lot of areas of downforce on both sides of the driver, and the way that it's the pitch that car has. I'd say that's pretty important. Just wondering, most of racing we do around here, whether it's our street stocks or late models, modifieds, we run anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rear tire stagger. Now, what would you guys run normally as for your rear tire stagger?
Some guys very different. I mean, there's not really a set one. Most guys are probably anywhere between 6, and then early on in the night, you're probably up towards around 8, depending on the track. There's a little track like RPM or something like that. You're probably up towards 9 on some of these bull rings, depending on the track too, if it's heavy or slick or
Yeah.
It all varies. But yeah, a lot of guys are between 6 and 9, I'd say, most of the time.
That's interesting. So you're kind of right between what a late model might run and like a wing sprint car.
Yeah.
So you really use that rear end to turn the car. I watch these cars and how the front end dances. Like there doesn't seem to be a lot of weight on those front wheels. And of course, you run a straight axle. But anyway, it was just a question. I was just curious to see. So yeah, so that explains it. All right, back to you, Craig.
Were you doing a lot of traveling in those early years, or were you just sticking close to home?
No, the early years, yeah, we did a lot of racing early on. We would travel. We went to Weed Sport a couple times. We were up towards the Quebec, Granby, Can-Am, Airborne. Yeah, we did a lot of traveling early on.
All right, and so for your second season there, 2016, as I said, how was that? I mean, you said you stepped up with the bigger cars. Was it pretty good for you? Were you successful, or were you just trying to figure everything out?
Yeah, we were still figuring it out. I mean, we might have had a couple top 10 runs or something like that, but we still weren't where we needed to be, and it was still, like I said, a learning curve of learning different things and just building towards kind of where we are now.
Awesome. So 2017, you're still racing the Sportsman, but then you also try out some enduro racing. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's just kind of the top photos or the winter stuff we did with my mom and my brother and stuff. Just like a a family fun event. Just having some fun with some different things, and then at the end of the year, my now my fiance, we built her a car to try out the enduro, and she did the first women's race, and then I took it out after and was able to win with her car. So that was pretty cool to do that.
That's awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
So you said your mom raced an enduro car as well?
She used to back in the day, yeah, but she would. Her and her fiance now run a tow truck company, so they were able to get us a couple cars and stuff like that. So that's kind of where in Clarence Creek we were able to do like a winter derby kind of thing that we did.
Wow. So it really is a family racing. Comes right from your roots from from a long way back. That's pretty cool. It's really nice to see the whole family involved in racing. I was lucky enough to have that. Having a family there makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh, exactly. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am now. My dad and my mom put a lot of money into it in the early years, and now I'm kind of slowly going on my own with sponsors and stuff like that. So but for sure, without them, wouldn't be where I am.
Oh, that's great. Okay, back to you, Craig.
Did you do a lot of traveling for the enduro races, or like where were they all happening at?
No, we just did the one. It was called the Family Festival at Clarence Creek. It was just a winter one, so it was just a fun one. And then, like I said, we got my fiance a car for the enduro, and I kind of just did it with her after that. I usually try to just stick to the modified stuff, but when you get a chance for fun to jump in something different and do some different types of racing, it's fun.
What are you gonna do when your fiance says she wants a Sportsman modified?
Not yet.
Yeah, yeah. Rob, do you have any questions on any of that?
And no, I just it brought back some memories of the endurance race that we had at our track, and all that was going through my mind was with all these cars out there and all of the carnage. How are we going to clean this track up? A dirt track, okay? How are we going to clean this thing up? But it all worked out, and everybody had a good time, and it was in the winter as well. I don't know if we'll ever do that again, but it was pretty cool while it lasted. Back to you, Craig.
Well, before we keep going on here, we would just want to step aside to have a word from our sponsors. So we'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. And Circle Track Chatter, sponsored by Elliot and Ashley Wilton of Royal LePage Piper Realty, the fastest realtors around. Call the Wiltons a household name. Welcome back to Circle Track Chatter, talking with Gabriel here from Cornwall Motor Speedway, 2024 Sportsman Champion. So here we are. We're carrying on with the Sportsman division, and it looks like in that middle picture there, you had a little bit of an oopsie. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first rollover. That's at Mohawk Speedway. Wasn't a great night for us. It was early on in the season too. We just put this car together, and we went out and we didn't race well, so we had to start at the back of the feature. And maybe 2-3 laps in, there was a massive pileup on the front straightaway with nowhere to go, and we probably rolled 3-4 times, I'd say, on that front stretch wall, and ended up like that, and a lot of broken parts and a garbage frame.
Were you able to climb out of the car okay on your own, and you weren't no side effects or anything?
No, everything was good. We're fortunate enough to come out of there unscathed.
Nice. So a big call out to the safety gear and all the stuff that they make you guys do for your own safety, which is awesome to see. I noticed with all your cars there, you have what we've seen so far, completely different paint schemes. How do you come up with the paint scheme each and every season?
Yeah, this early part of my career, we were doing a lot of changing and stuff like that, different sponsors. So this one was kind of we were sponsored by Frank's Heavy Towing this year, and his main colors were orange. So we kind of did like the chains to represent the tow trucking stuff. So that's where this year's came from. But yeah, the last couple of years I've tried to kind of keep to the similar design and similar stuff. I find now as I get older, it's I like the simple.
Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
Well, I was looking at that wreck, and and Gab said that the frame was junk. Before Gab came on, I did a little. I was doing a little research because I am fascinated by these cars. So I checked on Bicknell's site, and it's to buy just a bare frame it's like $5,500. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, Gab. But I was looking on the internet, and to buy a roller, just a basic modified roller, and I'm not sure. I don't remember if it had a crate engine, but it's like 45 grand. So it's expensive when he says that the frame was damaged. I mean, that's not a cheap fix. So now, do you fix all your own stuff, Gab, or do you have to have it done by somebody?
No, we do all our own work. We try to do as much as we can. For certain parts, we have to order in or whatnot. But yeah, this particular one, it sucked, but it was a lot of fun in the meantime, I guess. When we junked this frame on Friday night, we were able to load it in the trailer. And my dad had just bought another frame that same night or Saturday morning. We were able to get a frame to the house, so we went and picked that up. And 7 or 8 of us worked for probably 18 to 20 hours straight from Friday night to Sunday to be ready for Cornwall on Sunday. So we were able to put like a whole car, strip this whole car and put a whole new car together for Sunday. And it was pretty cool. We went out, won the heat race that Sunday night, and then rain hit, so we weren't able to do the feature. But it was just a cool little weekend, I guess. That started bad, finished pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's really a good feeling when you have bad stuff happens and you put it all back together and everything works the way it's supposed to, and you win. Yeah, good.
Exactly.
All right, back to you, Craig.
So I just want to step away from the racing just a little bit and just get to know you a little bit, if you don't mind telling us. Obviously, you have a fiance, so you're engaged. Family life, do you have any children? What do you do for work? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have she's our daughter. It's gonna be her name's Oakland. She's gonna be 2 actually this weekend. We're having a party for her birthday. So that was awesome to have that happen to us 2 years ago. Really changes your life and the way you look at things differently now. But for work, I'm a sales rep for Kent Automotive, so I kind of cover a territory of from Cornwall to Kingston to Ottawa. So that keeps me pretty busy outside of this racing stuff as well. And recently, now that I'm not playing hockey anymore, I'm now coaching U15 rep hockey. So that's something new for me too this year. So that's kind of my outside life of racing right now.
That'll keep you busy, eh? Coaching hockey, like that's a full-time job itself.
Yeah, we just had tryouts and stuff like that, and I'm glad the racing season's kind of died down a bit because I feel like I'm living at the rink these last couple of weeks.
Definitely. As far as hockey goes, are you do you watch hockey? Are you an NHL fan, OHL fan? What do you got going on fan wise?
Yeah, I watch a lot of hockey. I try to follow Ottawa. Unfortunately, they haven't been too great these last couple of years, but no, I'm a Sens fan, so hopefully this year brings us some good hockey for us.
Awesome. Well, that's all good stuff, and congratulations on your engagement and your daughter as well, Oakland. That's cool to have the family at the track with you, I'm sure, and probably at the rink. Do they support the hockey as well with you?
Yeah, they're always there, so it's awesome to do it all together.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So speaking of family, actually, that kind of leads us into at some point your brother decides that he wants to try his hand at racing a little bit too. Talk about how that conversation went when he comes to you, says, "I want to try racing as well." And are you supportive, or you say, "I don't know about that"? How did that all come about?
Yeah, no. So he 2 years ago we were able to get him a ride with different guys, so we didn't have to cover a lot of the costs. So he was able to start out with him, race under him, and kind of start off in rookie sportsman. He actually won the rookie sportsman championship at Brockville Speedway that year. So that was pretty cool for him. He probably had about 6, 7 rookie sportsman wins. So he had a good first year. And then his second year, he raced with him for about halfway through the year, won his first regular sportsman race. And then a few weeks later, they decided to part ways. So I had a second car sitting in the back of the shop as a roller. Just needed to put a motor in, so we were able to get some pretty good sponsors to help us with that, and we kind of formed a team for a year and a half now. These last few weeks, he's taken a little bit of a break, done some camping stuff, and his hockey just started, so he hasn't been at the track racing as much. So he's just been helping out with me. But no, it was awesome to form a team together and kind of have the similar cars and racing with him. It was a lot of fun.
Do you guys get along all the time, or do you have kind of your sibling battles on and off the track, and you have your way of doing things, and he has his way of doing things, and don't always see eye to eye on everything?
Yeah, we're definitely we don't always see eye to eye on certain things. I try to show him the way that I learned and the way that I see things, and sometimes he likes to see it a different way. So we butt heads that way. I think like every other siblings do, but no, it all means well. In the end, it's we're doing it to help each other and make each other better, and that's kind of what we're doing.
Absolutely. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
They're just like those two chassis look very similar. What chassis do you run, Gab?
We run Bicknell chassis. Those two are both the same. We kind of designed them the exact same. So if I were to get in the other car on a Friday night, say, I'd kind of feel the same as I was if I was in my car. But yeah, no, those are two Bicknell chassis. Those ones.
Hmm. Now, so you indicated that he's won a couple of sportsman feature he has a couple of sportsman feature wins already.
Yeah, he has one regular sportsman win, and then I think around 6 or 7 rookie sportsman wins when he first started.
In the one sportsman win, were you in that same race?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So were you close by, or were you back a little ways, or when?
I think it was we started ninth that night, and I think we were able to get up to sixth. So we weren't right up there, but
You could see your
this
brother win.
exactly, I could see him win. And this year we've had some good battles. This year, a couple nights I'd win, he'd finish third, or he'd finish second, I'd finish third. So we were able to do the 1-2 finish, which would have been cool to do, but we've been all pretty close.
And that's pretty neat. That's again back to this having the family involved, being able to race with your brother, and it's really important in racing to have that support. And that's pretty cool to hear that story. All right, back to you, Craig.
So at some point, you decide that you really want to step up with the big boys, and you want to try your hand at 358 modified racing. Talk about that. What brought that on, and how was that for you?
Yeah, so this night here, early on in the week, there was no sportsman at Cornwall this Sunday. So we got a call from Sandy, the owner of that SS3 car, and he just asked me if I wanted to run his car for the week. So I said, won't say no to that opportunity for sure. So we were able to go set up the car and do a couple little tweaks that I'm used to doing on my car, and we were able to do that to that car. And we were lucky enough to start out front in our heat race and run away with the heat race win for first time ever in the car in the 358s. So that was pretty cool. And then in the feature, we were able to finish seventh, running with some close to some former track champions and the current track champion there with the 358s. We were able to stick right with them and had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I'm sure that Craig is going to ask you this question, but I'm going to ask it first. So this looks like the next step up from sportsman to the 358s. Is that something you're thinking that you're heading for?
Yeah. So just recently, not too many people know, but I've sold all my sportsman stuff. Sold our 2 motors, sold all our shocks. We actually purchased 2 358 motors in the last couple of weeks. So it's been a busy last couple of weeks doing the transition. I just got the motor in my car now. We did practice last week. We were able to rent the track at Cornwall and did a bunch of laps. So Yeah, we've made the jump now, so we're all in. We got all new shocks from Dig Race Products. Big thanks to Brandon for that, for the quick turnaround. So we're excited for next weekend, long weekend at Cornwall, to see what we can do with the big guys.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you'll be able to race it in the fall before the season ends, and you'll have that seat time and be all ready to go for 2025.
Exactly.
I,
Yeah, that was kind of the intentions to that. To kind of give us a little jump on next season. So we'll kind of have a little bit of a notebook, or if you want to say that,
Yep.
to kind of know what we're getting ourselves into for next year.
That's really cool. Back to you, Craig.
As far as sportsman racing goes, before we get too ahead of ourselves here, you're the 2024 champion at Cornwall Motor Speedway. Why don't you walk us through your 2024 season and the highs and lows, and what comes out of a championship season?
Yeah, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this. A lot of hours in the shop, a lot of tweaks, a lot of changes that we do throughout the year. A lot of people that support me. My dad, my brothers, my brother, my fiance, my daughter for being at the shop with us. My mom. The highs and lows. I mean, we had a pretty good season. We were able to have 4 wins and 11 starts at Cornwall, so we were one of the top cars. I think our worst finish was sixth all year. A lot of top fives, a lot of top threes. We were able to win the heat championship as well. We were able to win the track championship, and on the last night we finished second for the little series that they have there. So we wanted to get all three, but we got two out of the three championships, so that was pretty cool. We had a good battle. It was close all season. It came down to the final race this year. Um, so it was a lot of fun and a lot of work, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Oh, as I said earlier, that to have such a big car count and win a championship it's outstanding. Usually, if there's 14 to 20 cars, even then it's a pretty big feat to win a championship. But to have 30 plus or sometimes 40 some odd cars, holy Toledo! Again, my hat's off to you, Gab. That's a great achievement for you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep. All right, Craig.
And to win a championship, I mean, obviously it takes a lot of practice, and you get a lot of practice traveling to different tracks, racing with different people. Talk about some of the places that you've been and some of the people that you've raced against, and in the traveling you've done. Have you won a bunch of big races or any big races? Talk about your travels a little bit.
Yeah, so back in 2022, like that photo there, we were able to head out to Granby, Quebec, which is one of the big tracks around here. A lot of fast cars that are there. When you go there, the Quebecers are pretty tough to beat. Not a lot of Ontario guys can go there and win, that's for sure. So we actually picked up a win there in 2020 COVID year. There was only a couple of tracks open, so we were able to win there in 2020, which was a pretty big race for us. My first win that year was there, so that was cool. And then in 2022, we had a little Ontario Quebec series kind of going on. So we won the first race at Cornwall, and then a couple weeks later, they had the second leg of the series at Granby again, and we were able to win there again. So we won two there, and I don't think any other Ontario guys really done that in the sportsman class. So that was pretty cool to do that. We also went to Oswego, which was a lot of fun, a real experience. 101 cars showed up that night, that whole week, and only 30, I think, made it 32. So we were 11th fastest all week, and then we finished, I think, fourth in our heat race to qualify into the feature. We started, I think, 21st, and we were up to 12th, and then I had a left front flat from hitting the inside of the wall. So we kind of held on. I think we finished around 18th or 19th or something like that. But yeah, those are kind of the cool tracks that I've been to. We've been to Weed Sport. We went to Fulton Speedway. Airborne's another cool track around here. Airborne Park Speedway in Plattsburgh, New York. That's probably one of my favorite tracks. I really enjoy going there. We've done everything but win there.
So I guess I'm wondering then, with all the traveling that you've done, if money was no object and time was no object, and you could go anywhere and race anything, what would be the dream track or the dream race or the dream class, or what would it be for you?
I mean, I think that we all starting out down here in the sportsmans or something like that. We're all looking up to the big guys for the Super Dirt Car Series. I mean, that'd be something awesome one day. If I had the money, would definitely be doing that. But no, I mean racing with Shepard and Friesen and Williamson and all those big names in our division would be something awesome to do one day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
No, I'm just fascinated at how much racing he's done at 24 years old, and boy, as I said, the sky's the limit for you, Gab. It looks like you're a heck of a race car driver, and I hope one day I'll be able to see you. I don't know now. What's the closest easterly track that would run like 358? Would that be like um,
I think like Merrittville or something like around that area. Merrittville Speedway is towards Niagara area.
yeah? Well, one of these days I'll
Uh,
have to make a trip, see if I can't watch it. Anyway, back to you, Craig.
So no matter what, to get these cars to the track, I mean, obviously you've been successful at such a young age, and it takes a lot to get these cars to the track. Do you have some sponsors and some crew and some people you want to thank?
yeah, I mean there's a lot of people behind me that make this happen. Especially in these last couple of years, we've been running a lot better. Two track championships back to back, 7 wins in 2 years. So there's a lot of people that have made this possible for me. A big one this year that's come on board is Mr. Puffs Cornwall. Anna and Mark have been a real help for me. RDP Racing, Eric Loy has been with me for 4 or 5 years now. A big thanks to him. Team Frustration, Mark Roy's a new one that just came on board this season as well. So he's been a real help for us. Without him, we probably wouldn't be doing the switch that we're doing now and all the changes that we've done. But there's JM Greenhouse, JLB Heating and Cooling, Eric Jean Louis, Champions Race Supply with Sandy McFarland, Dig Race Products, Captured Moments, LFM, J&A Collision. There's just my mom, my dad, my brother, my fiance, Derek. My fiance's brother does a lot of work with me with the crewing, so I appreciate all that. And there's a lot of people to thank for this.
Absolutely, and the entire crew and the sponsors, they got you back-to-back championships, so that's absolutely amazing. Congratulations on all of that, Gabriel. I don't have any other questions for you now. Do you have anything else that you think we need to know about before we let you off the hook here?
No, I mean we touched on most of it. It was pretty cool. We wanted to get the championship this year before moving up to the next class, and we're excited for the new challenge that's going to be set. We know it's not going to be a walk in the park. There's a lot of big names and a lot of tougher competition. So we're excited to get started on that new chapter. That's for sure.
Awesome, and we wish you all the best of luck in that. Rob, do you have any other questions before we let him go here?
So, what about your brother? Is he going to continue racing, or is he going to help you out the 358?
For this year, I think the rest of this year he's going to help me out. I'm going to have a second car next year, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get him a couple races.
And one other, I wanted to ask you. You said you're a sales rep for Kent Automotive, and what does Kent Automotive do?
So it's just like auto body supply, so like all the bumper clips, bolts, license plates, screws, all like that kind of stuff. A lot of chemicals and stuff for the cars, like detailing products, nuts, bolts, cut off wheels. It's just there's a whole catalog full of different things for automotive, collision centers, dealerships, all that stuff for cars.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I just found out that this week, because I do some car restoration stuff, and a friend of mine says, they don't spot weld panels and or pop rivet stuff on anymore. It's all epoxy. Isn't that interesting? Like they don't. they just basically put a panel on there and they put an epoxy on there and that's it. Put some Bondo on it. A lot simpler than the old days.
Yeah, it's a lot different now. They just all the different chemicals that they've come out with, it makes for
Yeah,
a difference.
yeah. You see, it mixes the epoxy and you just put it on. Done. That's as simple as it is. Anyway,
Yeah.
It has really been nice to talk to you. And as I say, we don't have a lot of sportsman modified stuff down here. We have UMP modifieds, which are you're not a center steer. They're exciting to watch, but we don't know a lot about your cars. Although it's a huge division and very popular down where you are. And I was really happy to have you come on here and tell us a little bit more about it. So just very interesting. Your wealth of knowledge. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you guys. It was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun coming on. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Rob said, thanks for joining us. You're our first sportsman driver, our first Cornwall driver. So you got all kinds of firsts here, and we really appreciate you jumping on here with us. It's been a lot of fun. Cornwall is definitely a long haul from home for us, but at some point, maybe next year, I'll try and make it up to watch you and come and hang out with you in the pits and do an interview and do all the fun stuff.
Yeah, that'd be awesome for sure. You guys are more than welcome at the trailer anytime.
Awesome. Appreciate it. And thanks
Thank
again
you.
for joining us, and wish you the best of luck in 2025 season.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
You too. Thank you. Well, there we go, Rob. We know a little bit more about our 2024 Sportsman Champ at Cornwall Motor Speedway, the driver of the 94, Gabriel Sear. What did you think of that?
That's he's again, for 24 years old. He's done a lot of racing, and he's very excited to go to the next level. Man, those super modifieds are a lot of fun to watch. As I said, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I remember watching Barefoot Bob McCready, which is Timmy's dad, race at Syracuse. Him and Maynard Troyer and all them guys. They just a ton of motor. They weigh about 2,400 pounds, and they just it's a real race car. And sitting right over that, just like a sprint car, you're sitting right over the drive shaft and transmission. Motor's right in front of you, right in the center of the car. It must be odd to drive it. Pretty neat. But as I was, a lot of people have asked me about 602 crate engines and what is the 602 crate engine? Well, actually, it was in about the turn of the century, 2002. General Motors decided that they needed to come up with something a little cheaper, and I know you think that's funny. Turn of the century, right? 2002.
Showing my age as well as yours at the same time.
Okay, so they come up with the 602s, the 603, and the 604. And most guys around here will run like a 602. And as I say, it makes 350 horse. It's a 350 cubic inch 9-to-1 motor. And it was a really good idea. Even though I don't like crate engines, I like to have. I want to have some really serious cojones under me. You know what I'm saying? But they kept the cost down. You can buy expensive components for them, but the whole idea was at the time to build a $5,500 motor that everybody could afford. Because most built engines back when I was younger was you pay $30,000, and most of that was in machining of the cylinder heads. They'd port them and polish them and hog them all out. Well, and GM came up with this bright idea. Well, why don't we'll build the casting with that already done to it. And then just around the corner from a shop I had in Windsor was Dart Machine, and Dart was responsible for also building some castings that really started to revolutionize racing when that started out. But that was back in 2002, and here we are now, and we're not spending $60,000. We're spending less than 10 on engines, and that was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little take on 602 crate engines.
Well, that's good. You're
602 cubic inch motor. It's a 350, and actually the 604 is based off the 400 cubic inch motor. But anyway, I won't bore you with all the details. I just give you the easy stuff.
Well, that's okay. We appreciate all the knowledge that you bring us. You are a wealth of knowledge, and you help us out in the mechanical department, because not everybody is mechanically inclined necessarily. Some people are good at running computers, and some people are good at building cars. So you do your car thing, and I'll do my computer thing. How's that sound?
Well, thank you, Craig, because I want nothing to do with that technical stuff.
And I know my way around Facebook pretty good, so we have some fun with that. But yes, this has been a lot of fun. I had a good chat with Gabriel here, and we learned a little bit about him, a little bit about Cornwall Motor Speedway. So we're going to try and make our way down there some Sunday next year and check it out. It's a heck of a drive. It's on the other end of the 401 over there.
You're driving right to the border of Quebec, and it's right off the 401. And as I said, you're not even far from the New York border, but he's right. That is a hotbed of modified racing down in there. He's right in the middle of it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, once again, Rob, Circle Track Chatter, we thank you very much for joining us once again. And of course, your daughter, Angela Young-Bonner, back there in the production studio, making sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing and all the good stuff. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you to the Wiltons for helping us out. This has been Circle Track Chatter for Rob Young and Craig Smulders. We will talk to you the next time. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your week.